My first ever loan signing was like a plane without an engine. It was destined to crash and burn. Hi, my name is Elias, and in today's video, I'm going to explain to you why my first loan signing was such a disaster and what you can do to avoid having such a horrible loan signing. I received my first loan signing when I was still working at my old job. I got the notification on my phone for a 7 p.m. signing the following week, so I immediately jumped on it and I took it. To this day, I regret having taken that signing. The events that followed shook me to my core, and I almost gave up on being a loan signing agent. The week had passed and the day of the signing had finally arrived. The only issue is, like many of you have experienced in the past, I had not received the documents. I tried getting a hold of the signing service, but nobody answered. I'm sure many of you can relate to this, where you try calling them, you try emailing them, you try texting them, you try multiple numbers, but nobody answers the phone, and you have questions, and you need to get the documents, but nobody is answering. Finally, 1 hour before the signing was set to happen, I finally got a call back, and they told me that they were preparing the documents. And then, as you can expect, 7 o'clock hit. The time of the appointment was set for 7, and I still had not received the documents. The signing service then calls me and they tell me and they promise me that they're gonna have the documents ready in about 30 minutes. I call up the signers and I let them know that I'm going to be a little bit late, just to warn them, give them the courtesy of telling them I'm going to be late. Now question, did I receive the documents 30 minutes later? Of course not. No, I didn't. You know when I ended up receiving the documents? I ended up receiving the documents at 9 o'clock. To make matters worse, at the time, I only had a 1-tray printer. So printing the documents itself was already an ordeal. And on top of having a 1-tray printer, I was ill-prepared. I did run out of paper. I had to run to a local store to get more paper. Eventually, I was able to get the documents printed. I ran out the door and I headed to the signing. I got to the signing, sat down at the table, and then it hit me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing in my face. I was duped. I was lied to, tricked. I was not expecting that when I looked down at the package and I spoke to the signers, I was not doing one refinance. I was doing refinance for 2 properties. And to top off the disaster, the paperwork for both properties was mixed in one pile. 2 signers, 2 properties, 1 pile. And the signing began. But the thing is, if you're doing the signing that late in the day, the signers, they're exhausted. So they committed so many errors. It was atrocious. Their handwriting was atrocious. I was constantly having to seep through their copy in order to get one of their paperwork to cover mine because they had made so many mistakes, and it's hard to do that when all the paperwork is mixed into one pile. It was ridiculous. And I had never taken a signing before, so I had no clue what I was doing. I was so lost when I looked at the paperwork. I didn't know what to tell them, and they noticed that themselves. So when the signers notice that you don't know what you're talking about, they begin to read the document, and oh my god, did they read. They turned that crap into a novel. You know what time I ended up leaving? I left the house at 12. No. I left the house at 1 a.m. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that when I got home, God, I discovered that my my scanner wasn't working. I had an all-in-one printer and my scanner wasn't working. So, got 2 properties worth of paperwork. I had to scan using my phone. I stayed up until 3:30 in the morning scanning paperwork to send it back. And the sad reality is that if you do the mistakes that I did, you're going to repeat what happened to me, and you're also going to have a signing that's going to crash and burn. So listen to these 3 things that you need to pay attention to in order for you not to have a signing like me. You don't want it. Trust me. You do not want a signing like me. So listen to these 3 things. The first thing you want to do is to look over the documents. Every page. Read every page like it's a novel. I want you to understand that document better than the person who prepared it. Second thing that I want you to do, it ties into the first one, is that if you have a signing and you don't have the documents and you don't have time to read it and it's late, refuse the signing. I know some of you are worried that if you refuse the signing, you're not going to get more signings, but that's a myth. I have refused plenty of signings in the past from signing services, and those same signing services continue to give me business. Trust me, it's okay to refuse signings. It's not your fault that the documents are late. It's not the signing service's fault either that the documents are late. It's the lender's fault. And they understand that you have things to do. They understand that you need to be prepared for the signing. So refuse the signing. Tell them that you're not going to be able to make it because you have another signing right after. Tell them whatever you have to, but don't take it unless you're able to review the documents. And the third, it's actually 4 things. 4 things. The 4th one is probably the most important one. But let's get to the 3rd one. The 3rd one is you need to be prepared. Have a dual tray printer. You're going to do yourself the biggest favor. Printing the documents alone took me forever. Another thing you need to have ample paper. You do not have time to be running around searching for paper to buy. And you need a good scanner because you do not want to be up until 3:30 in the morning scanning paper by paper. And the 4th thing, the most important thing, this is the golden nugget of the century. It's that you have to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I post a video, and smash that like button. Completely obliterate it. If you're a new subscriber, comment below that you're a new subscriber, and I'm going to try to respond to as many people as possible. If you guys learned something, if you have any tips for my future videos, if you have any requests, leave them below in the comments. But for real, if you're a new subscriber, let me know in the comments. Alright, it's been a pleasure. Peace.